Welcome back, everybody. We got some disastrous earnings from the planet. That's right. Planet 13 just dropped their most recent quarterly report. And let me tell you, it ain't that pretty. As a matter of fact, their net loss was greater than their revenue. So let's go check out the planet, and let's give Jeremy a high five, because I heard he just launched his newest grift where he's charging even more money on Patreon. You deserve it, Jeremy Lefebvre. God bless you. So here's Planet 13, okay? It's currently trading for 83 cents, and it was down 7.39% today. Not too hot there, Planet. Now, this stock has absolutely collapsed over the past year, 69.34%. Why? Because it's trash. Okay, I've talked about this 1,000 times. They pay taxes on their gross profit, not their net or not their earnings before interest. They pay way higher taxes than every single other freaking company out there because they're only allowed to deduct their costs of goods sold on their tax return. That is a disadvantage for every company. Every other company can deduct everything, including interest, and then they pay taxes on what's left. There's a big difference. The more you can deduct, the less taxes you pay, which is a problem for Planet 13. So let's go ahead and check out the earnings, okay? Here's the 8K. Planet 13 announces Q4 2022 financial results. Q4 2022 revenue of $24.8 million compared to $25.6 million in Q3 of 2022. So quarter over quarter, it's down. Wouldn't you imagine during the holiday, I don't know, do people go and buy ganja, or whatever you want to call it, during the holidays? You would imagine Q4 would be better. And actually, I think I visited, when did I visit Planet? I was there in Q4, okay? And I didn't buy anything. I've actually been to Planet 13. So let's look at it year over year, okay? So Q4 of the prior year was $29.88, and this year it was $24.8. Now, that's funny. That is hilarious. They're not showing the year over year change in revenue. They're showing the quarter over quarter because they're trying to hide the absolute collapse of this company's revenue. Year over year, let's see how bad the revenue has collapsed. So 24.8 minus 29.88. Okay, 29.88 divided by 24.8. So that gives us a collapse of 20%. Their revenue year over year has declined 20%, which they didn't seem to show here in the report. That's interesting. Why didn't you do that, Planet 13? Net loss of $38.6 million, driven by a $32.8 million impairment charge. So they wrote down some kind of asset. I don't know. Probably their overly expensive store that isn't generating any freaking cash flow. So their loss margin was negative 156%. Now, if they didn't have that impairment charge, that's a one-time charge, hopefully, their loss margin would be 24.8, negative 23%. Okay, so let's see how that compares to historical losses of the planet. So it's actually getting worse. Look at the profit margin, negative 23, negative 8, negative 7, negative 24. And now we're back at negative 23.4%. So their losses, their revenues collapsed 20%. Their losses have gotten worse. Adjusted EBITDA loss, if you exclude every other expense, then yeah, we were doing pretty good. And they had full year operating cash flow of $3.8 million. That's interesting. What did you have positive cash flow for Q4? Why are you talking about the full year? Are you trying to dress this up like a pig? You trying to dress up a pig? You can't dress up a pig. It's a freaking pig. All right. Let's read the, let's go look at the financial statements in more detail. Okay. So here we go. Oh, now they disclose the year over year. Here we go. Okay. So they're saying 16% drop. Revenue. Hold on a minute. 24.8 minus 29.9 divided by 24.8. Oh, sorry, 29.9 is negative 17%. Okay, I did the math wrong. Excuse me. So their revenue actually declined only 17%. Gross profit was 10.7% or 43%. So their gross profit has collapsed as well. Their gross profit has been trending. Let's see. What is their gross profit margin? Yeah, their gross profit has been trending down every single freaking quarter. Okay. It's slightly better than the prior quarter, I guess, but it ain't that great. Okay. Let's go look. Is there anything else on here? So, I mean, everything's just a freaking disaster. Okay. They're impairing their assets. Why? I'm not necessarily sure, but they're losing money hand over fist and nothing has changed. Okay. Let's see. Why don't they have the quarterly cash flow statement? They don't tell us the quarterly cash flow. They did have positive operating cash flow. Okay, so it was a goodwill impairment. There we go. So they had a goodwill impairment. So they made some kind of acquisition. They overpaid massively. And they had an impairment of intangible assets of almost I guess that's in millions, $7 million. So they've basically paid a ton of money for acquiring other businesses and buying intangible assets. And then they had to write them down massively, which is why they're getting added back on the statement of cash flows. What a freaking disaster, okay? There's not a single positive thing about this company. It seems like they're hiding a lot of stuff. They're being very mysterious, okay? Now, if we look at their balance sheet, they actually have a pretty decently strong balance sheet. You look at their cash, they have $52 million of cash, and they have total liabilities of $42 million. So theoretically, they could pay off all their liabilities if they wanted to pay all their lease payments up front. They could pay off all their liabilities and still have cash left over. But they're not going to do that because I suspect they're burning cash, at least in this quarter. But they only showed the full year, so we don't know. So, oh my God, what is this? Intangible assets and goodwill. So they're still making acquisitions. They're still buying stuff. Hopefully they're not overpaying this time. So they've had some big investments in property, plant, equipment. They've had pretty big investments in intangible assets and goodwill. Their total assets are $233 million. So overall, the balance sheet isn't that bad, okay? Overall, the balance sheet isn't that bad. Now it's being propped up by additional paid-in capital because their equity is not increasing from profit and loss. So basically, they're issuing shares to stay alive. Wow. So freaking amazing. There is absolutely nothing to celebrate about this report at all. And I would be surprised if the stock plunged even more tomorrow. But I mean, how much more can this stock plunge? I mean, it's 83 cents. I've been to this store. I've been to the store in Las Vegas. It's a joke. It's a massive store, and they have to like spread stuff out to make it look like there's a lot of stuff. It's like 20 times too big. They could have fit all their stuff into like a tiny little store, a quarter of the size. I'm not even joking. But instead, they have this massive freaking disaster store that they're probably paying out the butt for. It's a joke. It's a whole freaking joke. All right, let's do some comments. Let's see. Get VT. Okay. 83 cents per share. I can make more money selling used edibles. Let's see. Is Lefebvre actually going to buy the dip this time? He claimed he would do a tap. No, he's just going to buy large cap growth stocks like everybody else does and call himself a genius. Oh, I bought Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta. Wow, that's so original. Stocks that are represented in the index already. Holy smokers, I'm already crying myself to sleep from this lawsuit. Stop going over my stock picks. Jeremy can't stop taking L's. His S-style call option is probably worthless now. Doesn't matter. Just don't talk about it anymore, bro. Just ignore it. Jeremy has a new Patreon tier with a new Discord group that will cover market close. I will definitely be investigating that. The best advice you can give everyone is do the opposite of Lefebvre. He told everybody semiconductors are in trouble for 23 and the video goes up stupidly. Then he sells on Google and it goes up 6%. Of course! Guess what? He'll get more Patreon signs up. So that's all that matters. Let's see. But it's the future, bro. I mean, tell you, when I walked into Planet 13, great store. It's a beautiful store. But it's just too big. Like, it's insanely too big. Let's see. You know what's hilarious? Jeremy's saying he's taking applications to join a stock group. And it was 1%. Yeah, okay. A 99% rejection rate. Hey, Jeremy, I'm dumb and I have a lot of cash. Oh, we're not taking you. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Why does Jeremy need a cover open and close every day? Is he going to start dating? That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe he's burning cash because he shut down his freaking Financial Fortress website, it looks like. I don't know what's going on with that. He's got to find a new way to grift. Strong man, my dong man. Balance sheets don't matter. Lefebvre does channel checks and sees it's busy on Friday. So therefore it's a buy. Didn't he go there recently? I thought I saw a picture on his page where he went to Planet 13. Okay, you go to the store, wow, DD. I mean, if you go to the store and you see how big it is versus how much inventory is there, that's actually, I guess, good DD. You can kind of see like, wow, this place probably has a lot of overhead. Not to mention the tax disadvantages. Let's see. Should strongman viewers buy the dip? Go all in, bro. Like your mom's savings, your grandma's savings, take out a home equity loan, sell everything in your house, sell your butt at the truck stop for the weekend. Everything you possibly can to go all in on Planet 13 stock. Let's see. Too many fire hazards. Yeah, guys, go watch the video of, because I'm not joking. I went into Planet 13 and the video actually got like 7,000 or 8,000 views, but it wasn't monetized, sadly. Go watch that video and you're going to see a part where they have a flame just shooting in the air. There's just this flame, just unattended. There's nobody there. Just a flame just shooting. I'm like, is this not a fire hazard? It was ridiculous. Let's see. Semiconductors would likely pull back a lot. NVIDIA is very much overbought. That means that Jeremy does buy a lot of unprofitable trash. Yeah, well, he's changed his tune now. Now he's just going to buy large cap profitable stocks that are already represented pretty massively in the index. Okay. I have a question. If Tron's no longer cryptocurrency to trade in the US, why do I still have a wallet? I don't know. What are you even talking about? Can we get along with Ryu? Or is that gone too? There it is. Okay. Bro, way more big channels covering balance sheets and statement of cash flows. Yeah. Find me one channel that does that. Well, there's a few out there. He's never smoked the devil's lettuce. I have not. Let's see. We need a new Jeremy intro. We do. Maybe an update for his Fubo stock. Did Fubo stock get absolutely wrecked? Usually, I like to do updates during earnings. I don't really care unless there's like a material event, like they submit an 8K because something crazy happened. I usually don't tend to cover those, fluctuations in stock price. I like to look at the earnings. That's kind of what I wait for with all these stocks. Like I said, unless there's a huge thing. All right, guys, that's it. I'm gonna investigate Lefebvre's newest grift, and I think I'm gonna call it a night after that. Talk to you later. Cheers.